Hello there, and welcome back to another installment of SCP Readings with your reader here, Gmo Dawn. Today we're looking at SCP-1358. There's a link down in the description for you to follow along as I read out loud. SCP-1358 is an area of land blank square kilometers located in blank Canada. It is heavily forested and experiences snowfall blank percent of the year. For the majority of the day, SCP-1358 lacks any anomalous properties. From 1930 to 730 hours, SCP-1358 becomes inhabited by entities henceforth referred to as SCP-1358-1. SCP-1358-1 appear to be animated illuminated outlines of humanoid figures. They display signs of intelligence, occasionally performing coordinated and complex movements. However, instances of SCP-1358-1 usually appear to wander aimlessly throughout the area of SCP-1358. All attempts to communicate with SCP-1358-1 have been met with hostility and have otherwise been deemed a failure. No further attempts to communicate are planned at this time. At 630 hours, all entities freeze in place. As the sun rises, the illumination of the entities appears to wane, the outlines blurring until SCP-1358-1 resemble solid masses of dim light. By 730 hours, all instances of SCP-1358-1 have faded completely. This effect can also be replicated with artificial light, although to a lesser degree, and will usually provoke the entity to retreat before disappearance. SCP-1358-1 display the ability to locate human life anywhere within the area of SCP-1358. In the event of human introduction into the area, all entities active within SCP-1358 converge on a subject until making contact. Subjects who come into contact with SCP-1358-1 involuntarily tense up, effectively paralyzing them. Instances of SCP-1358-1 then begin climbing up onto each other's shoulders until level with the apex of the closest tree. The subject is then transported up this ladder and placed at the peak of the tree, where they remain until vanishing along with SCP-1358-1. This is unique to humans. Entities ignore all other fauna introduced to the area. How either the entities or the subject retain their balance is unknown at this time. Addendum 1358-A. Reports of unusual behavior by SCP-1358-1. April 12, 1989. All instances of SCP-1358-1 materialized on the tops of trees and remained stationary until disappearance. Humans introduced into the area were ignored. November 23, 1992. At 230 hours, all instances of SCP-1358-1 joined hands and surrounded the nearest tree. At 448 hours, all instances of SCP-1358-1 disappeared spontaneously. January 15, 1997. At 1830 hours, guards on duty reported hearing whispering. SCP-1358-1 did not appear until 247 hours. At 300 hours, all instances of SCP-1358-1 became stationary and appeared to look up, remaining this way until disappearance. Reports of whispering continued until 812 hours. July 9, 2002. At 2237 hours, all instances of SCP-1358 formed ladders similar to those during human interaction. No human presence was detected inside the zone. At 0012 hours, all ladders began to converge on a central location. Once together, all ladders fell backwards and remained stationary on the ground until disappearance. December 9, 2002. SCP-1358-1 did not appear. At 730 hours, continuous screaming was heard from within SCP-1358. Upon investigation, a man later identified as D39411 was found at the top of a tree. At 751 hours, 3 minutes after locating the source of the screaming, D39411 stopped screaming and fell from the tree. Autopsy revealed D39411 died from a skull fracture. There's something so incredibly mysterious about this SCP, and the letter from the North Tale reading I did beforehand seems to shed very little light into why these entities are here and why they do what they do. Could it be that they truly are lonely and simply want someone to be there with them to see the stars on top of the trees? Or is there some kind of hidden malice behind them? Perhaps they're the lost souls or energies of people that had gotten lost here and died, each new death adding to their collective. If that is the case, I'd really like to know what keeps these entities here day in and day out, and why they can't leave. The fact that they build ladders of themselves seems to suggest that they wish to leave. And maybe that's another indicator to a different theory that perhaps they're not from this planet and they wish to go home. There's so many different possibilities for this SCP, and I genuinely enjoy it for that reason. So that has been SCP-1358. Thank you for joining me on this reading. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.